The night was cold in New York City. A mysterious figure, dressed in simple jeans and a hoodie, walked through the grand entrance of one of the most luxurious hotels in the city. The golden chandeliers above cast a dazzling glow. The scent of expensive cologne and fresh flowers filled the air, and the soft hum of conversations from wealthy guests echoed through the lobby. But then the atmosphere shifted. A sharp voice cut through the air like a blade. "Excuse me, are you lost?" The man paused, looking up slowly. He had just stepped into the hotel, yet someone already doubted his presence. The voice came from a man in a sleek suit, standing with his arms folded and an eyebrow raised in suspicion. The name tag on his jacket read, "Mr. Caldwell, Hotel Manager." A tense silence filled the air. Other guests turned to watch, their eyes scanning the situation with curiosity. Who was this man in the hoodie? Why was the manager acting so cold? What would happen next? Little did they know, the man they were looking at wasn't just anyone. He wasn't lost. And by the time this night ended, the entire hotel would never forget what was about to happen. Before we dive into this incredible story, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video. And don't forget to leave a comment below with your thoughts. Now let's get into it. Kylian Mbappé had just finished an intense international match in the United States. His body was tired, but his mind was at ease. The crowd had cheered his name, and his team had secured a glorious victory. Now he needed rest. He quickly booked a room in one of New York's most luxurious hotels and made his way there, dressed in casual clothes, sneakers, jeans, and a simple hoodie. As he entered the Grand Hotel lobby, its golden chandeliers and marble floors sparkled under the warm lights. Despite its beauty, Kylian barely noticed. All he wanted was to check in and sleep. But then an unpleasant voice cut through the air. "Excuse me, are you lost?" Kylian turned to see a tall, middle-aged man in a sleek suit eyeing him with a disapproving look. The name tag on his jacket read, "Mr. Caldwell, Hotel Manager." Kylian smiled politely. "No, I have a reservation here." The manager raised an eyebrow and smirked. "A reservation? Here? In this hotel?" He scanned Kylian from head to toe, his face twisting into a look of disbelief. "Are you sure you're in the right place? This hotel is for VIPs and high-class guests." Kylian remained calm. "Yes, I booked it online. Here's my confirmation." He pulled out his phone and showed the email. Mr. Caldwell barely glanced at it before shaking his head. "I'm afraid we have strict policies. We don't allow people to loiter in the lobby." Kylian's eyes darkened, but he kept his composure. "I'm not loitering. I'm checking in." The manager folded his arms. "Listen, kid, I don't know how you got that fake reservation, but we don't entertain people who clearly can't afford this place." A few hotel guests nearby turned to watch. A couple whispered among themselves, recognizing Kylian. But Mr. Caldwell continued his arrogant rant. "People like you should know their place." He scoffed. "You should try a motel down the street. It's more in your budget." The words stung, not because Kylian cared about the insult, but because he had heard this kind of prejudice before. He took a deep breath and decided it was time to teach Mr. Caldwell a lesson, but in a way he would never forget. Kylian reached into his pocket and took out his passport. He placed it on the counter. The receptionist's eyes widened in shock as she recognized the name. Then, Kylian pulled down his hoodie. Gasps filled the lobby. "Kylian Mbappé!" someone shouted. A few people ran up, asking for autographs. Mr. Caldwell's face turned ghostly pale. His mouth opened and closed, struggling to form words. You're Kylian Mbappé?" he stammered, his arrogance vanishing in an instant. Kylian chuckled. "Yes, and I do have a reservation here." The manager's posture changed immediately. He fumbled with his tie, his hands shaking. I'm so sorry, sir. I didn't recognize you. Of course we have a room for you. Please let me personally assist you." But Kylian raised a hand to stop him. "You judged me based on my appearance," he said, his voice calm but firm. "Not my character, not my achievements, just my clothes. If I wasn't famous, you would have turned me away just because you thought I didn't belong." Mr. Caldwell lowered his head, unable to meet Kylian's eyes. Kylian then turned to the hotel owner, who had rushed over after hearing the commotion. The owner, horrified by what had happened, immediately apologized. "This kind of discrimination has no place in my hotel," the owner declared. "Mr. Caldwell, you're dismissed." Gasps filled the air. Mr. Caldwell's face turned red. "Please, sir, But the owner was firm. This hotel is for people who respect others, no matter what they wear or where they come from. Kylian then did something unexpected. He turned to the receptionist. Is there anyone who needs a room but couldn't afford one tonight? The receptionist hesitated, then nodded. There's a family who came from out of town. Their flight got canceled, and they couldn't afford a stay. Kylian smiled. Book them the best suite. On me. Tears welled up in the receptionist's eyes. The family was brought in, shocked and overwhelmed by his kindness. But Kylian wasn't done. He then turned to the hotel staff and addressed everyone in the lobby. I hope this moment serves as a reminder, he said. We should never judge people by what they wear, where they come from, or how they look. A person's worth is measured by their heart, their kindness, and their actions, not their clothes or status. The guests clapped, inspired by his words. Some of them had seen discrimination before, but this moment made them reflect on their own biases. Even some of the employees, who had silently watched Caldwell's behavior before, felt a deep sense of shame. As Kylian walked to his suite, people in the lobby clapped, not just for his football skills, but for the heart he had shown. Mr. Caldwell, now jobless, sat in silence, realizing his mistake too late. Perhaps, for the first time, he understood that wealth meant nothing if one lacked respect and humility. That night, Kylian Mbappé lay in his luxurious suite, gazing at the city skyline. He didn't just play football for fame or money. He played to inspire, to break barriers, to show the world that value isn't measured by appearances, but by the kindness and respect we show to others. And that was the greatest goal of all. What a powerful lesson. This story reminds us all that true worth isn't in wealth, fame, or appearances, but in the kindness and respect we show to others. Let's take this lesson forward in our lives. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring content. Leave a comment below. What are your thoughts on this story? Until next time, stay kind and stay inspired.